Welcome to the FMC Lounge, everyone. I am your host, Joe for show, and in this video, we will be going over my updated Valby guide for Season 2 of the first Descendant. In this video, I will be going over two different builds that I use for farming Inferno Walker or other bosses, and even 400% dungeons and void vessels as well. If you like this kind of content and want to see more in the future, hit that sub button, drop a like, and leave a comment to help out with the YouTube algorithm. I would appreciate it a lot. Now, enough with the yapping, let's jump straight into it. If you wasn't aware, when Season 2 launched, Valby actually got a unexpected buff that we weren't expecting. We were told by the devs she was getting a rework in January with a few other Descendants, but we wasn't told she was getting a buff when Season 2 launched as well. None of us knew until we read the patch notes when Season 2 launched. And with some of the buffs that she got, it made her a top tier bosser now. If you are curious of what those buffs were, I will show you on your screen right now in the patch notes. So one of the changes that happened to Valby when Season 2 launched was her passive. The effect has been changed from reduced MP cost to now when you stand on water you get MP recovery. All her abilities 1 through 4 got a damage increase, and the duration for her fourth ability, the laundry bomb, has increased as well. For her Descendant mod, the water play has damage increase, the supply moisture has firearm attack increase, the tidal wave has passing damage increase and burst damage, the hydro pressure bomb got a lower cooldown and more damage as well, and for her spiral tidal wave, stack cooldown wave has decreased, burst damage has increased, and the continuous damage has been increased as well. And with all these buffs that she got, our two builds are going to revolve around the bubble bullet and the hydro pressure bomb. Now let's go over the mobbing build, and before we jump into it, I just want to say this build is exclusively for Ultimate Valby, but the bossing build will work on base Valby as well. But like I said before, we're going to be making our build around bubble bullet, and it is not attribute infusion. My previous Valby build, we made a build around the cleanup, which is a dimension, and we're going over fusion. Well, our second ability is still dimension, but when we equip the hydro pressure bomb, it actually changes to a fusion. So for our mobbing build, we had two different abilities for our attacks. The main thing we want to do is spam our first ability around, which is going to give our second ability a damage buff for the more enemies that are affected by the laundry. Now for the mods, we'll be using fusion amplification, non-attribute amplification, power increase, and focus on fusion. If you're wondering why we're using power increase instead of focus on non-attribute, power increase is going to give us like a whole different boost of damage because we're already getting 65% of non-attribute from this. This is just like its own separate power increase that we're getting, so which is why we're running this. We get more damage like this. I explained it better in my previous video on the Frano build. We will also be running two cooldown mod, MP conversions, and nimble fingers, so we can spam our abilities. We are going to be running R and defense just to help give our damage over time a little bit more ticks. We are using skill effect range just so our water could spread more for the first ability, and then when we use hydro pressure bomb, our second ability, it's going to reach more enemies. We are using maximize conversion for the skill cost, so we could spam our ability more, and we are running 1 HP mod. Now you can, if you want, take off this defense and put on duration. I feel like it's not needed. The main reason why is our water is already going to be on the floor for 10 seconds, and most enemies in the void vessel and dungeons, they're dead in under 10 seconds. The only one that are not is mainly the boss. Even the yellow bars, they're going to be dead too. That's why I feel like duration is not needed, and plus we're going to be spamming this so much. That's why I feel it's not needed. You can also run a second HP mod if you want, or you can take this off and put your duration here instead. It's really up to you. There's multiple different ways you could go about it. Now when it comes to your reactor, the two stats you want on the bottom, the main one you want is skill cooldown. That's the most important thing. The second stat, it's up to you. You can run a fusion or non-attribute, but the main one you want is skill cooldown. And if you also notice, I do have my reactor only at level 2. My Viesa build, it's only at level 2. I have the materials, as you can see right here, to increase it to level 5, but I'm choosing not to because I have it doesn't mean you have it. That material is not easy to get. It costs a lot of, it's sort of easy to get, but you need other material to make all the green. So I'm showing you that you do not need a maxed out reactor to make this build work. You don't even need Peacemaker. These are just going to give you damage buff, but it's not needed. Just having level 2 will work. If you need to farm a non-attribute infusion reactor, there's 2 areas you can go to. The first area for this week, it's going to be in this area. And where I like to come farm is right here at this outpost. I just use Valby and I just run around in circles with our third ability and just, you know, farm the areas like we used to previously do in season 0 over at this outpost. And this whole area is also going to have non-attribute and fusion reactor. It won't say it right here, but in recent update like 2 months ago, each zone has its own static reactor, which is always going to be that reactor no matter what the rotation is on the weekly. So if you, let's just say, you know, after the weekly reset that happens, you need a farm still, and that Agna spot doesn't have it no more, you could come over here to this area and you can use this outpost instead. Now when it comes to our components, you really want the 2-piece hunter set, and the main reason why is when you're running 2-piece, you are getting a skill cooldown -4%, which is going to allow us to have our first ability at 2.2 cooldown and our third ability at 3.4, which will allow us to spam both of these more. Now for your other 2 component sets, it's really up to you. I like to run Annihilation just because right here I'm gonna get defense and HP, another defense and HP, and if you see right here, defense and HP, I'm getting 3 defensive stats and 3 HP stats, which helps me be a little bit more tanky because I do not like playing a glass cannon. That's not my playstyle. But if that is your playstyle, then we'll go ahead and run the 4-piece Slayer set. Give yourself some more damage. Just remember, this cooldown is going to go a little bit up. This will probably go about 3, and this will be like 4 seconds. Now for our weapon, we are using the Peacemaker, and the main reason why is because the unique ability. Whenever you activate a dimension or fusion ability, you gain 1 stack, which could go up to 5 stacks. This is going to give you a damage buff. Like I said before, you really don't need this. Let's just say you don't have this, right? Well, the non-attribute skill power boost on your reactor will help make up a little bit for that damage. And if you do have a material and you put it to level 5, that will help as well, and you won't need this. This is just more added bonus damage. And also, if you are running a 4-piece Slayer set, well, there's your extra damage as well. There's all kinds of different ways you can get that damage if you need to. For your other weapons, it's really up to you. I like using Smithereen. It's a really great option for burst DPS, but because I have it, you don't need to have it. But like I said, use whatever you want, whatever fits your playstyle. Now for our bossing build, we will not be running any Transcendent mod. Most of the mods are the same. The only thing that changes is instead of running power increase right here, we are running focus on non-attribute. They are both the same archetype, so you do not have to put an extra catalyst. And the main reason why we are running focus on non-attribute is because of the skill cooldown. We want as much skill cooldown as possible. And instead of running R and defense, we are running spear and shield here. And the main reason why is the power increase mod, it gave us skill power. Because we're not running that, this is our only way we're getting skill power. So this is going to help us get a little bit, tiny bit more damage. And instead of running maximize conversion here, we are running dangerous ambush, so when the boss gets immobilized, we could do more damage. Now depending on which boss we are farming, I would actually take off danger ambush here, and I would sometimes put on maximize conversion. For example, let's just say Inferno Walker. I want this one on instead so I can spam more my first ability, because he's not going to instantly drop like a Gluttony, like a Molten Fortress, or Pyro, or Executioner, or Swamp Walker. And then I also want more HP to be a little bit more tanky, because Inferno Walker does so much damage compared to other bosses. Like I said, other bosses are going to drop instantly. Inferno Walker is not. So I want to run more mods where I could spam my ability more and be a little bit more tanky. Now when it comes to the reactor, there's 2 stats that you want on the bottom. Is additional skill attack when attacking Colossus and skill cooldown. Both of them are mandatory. But if you get better skill cooldown, that's great, but a blue works perfectly fine, especially if you're using the 2-piece hunter set. Like I explained earlier, having the skill cooldown on this will actually give this a 1.6 cooldown, which will allow you to spam this so much more often compared to not having a skill cooldown. Now you can take it off if you don't have a cooldown. You can run something else. Just notice that you're not gonna be able to spam as quick as possible, but you'll probably do more damage. For example, let's just say if you got a fusion instead of skill cooldown or non-attribute. Just to show y'all again, for the components, we are using the same ones as the mobbing build. Now, depending on which boss, you can also run the 4-piece Slayer set to give yourself some more damage. But if you are farming Frontal Walker, I recommend not using the 4-piece Slayer set. You will do more damage, but you're going to be more squishy, and that boss just hits like a truck. So I prefer to run this so I can be a little bit more tanky with 12k defense and 15k HP. And like earlier, we are using a level 2 reactor. This is the reactor I used to farm all the bosses. You see in the highlight, like I said, I'm not going to have it level 5 because not everybody had the material. And for the weapon, the Peacemaker, a little bit more damage. Now again, if you don't have Peacemaker, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you have a reactor at least level 2. And if you don't have a reactor level 2, you might as well want to get the Peacemaker, either or. And if you have both, well, that's great. You're going to do more damage. Just remember, if you do have a Peacemaker and if you do have this level 5, your build is going to be much more stronger than what you're seeing in this video. For the rest of the video, I'm just going to show a quick little 2-minute gameplay of my Frontal Walker run from beginning to the end, so you can kind of get an idea of how I use my ability for bossing. On that note, thank you for watching. Hope everybody has a great day and happy early holidays. I'll catch you on the next video.